All right, guys, I gotta tell you, this Paul Pelosi story keeps getting stranger and stranger and stranger and stranger. The more details that come out, again, the more confusing that it gets. It's not becoming any more clear in regards to what actually happened. However, despite this fact that the story is actually not becoming more clear, it's actually becoming more confusing, the mainstream liberal media is running with headlines like this, right? Quote, absolutely no evidence. Police FBI affidavit debunk salacious conspiracy about Pelosi attack pushed by conservatives. So they're saying that all the right-wing conspiracy theories have now been debunked. And it proves that our conspiracy theory, right, that this guy is some type of Trump supporter, is true. Okay, a illegal immigrant, something that the mainstream liberal media doesn't want to talk about, the fact this guy is an illegal immigrant from Canada who lives out in Berkeley, California, progressive, super liberal Berkeley, California. He's known as a nudist activist, or put it this way, he's associated with nudist activists. His baby mama apparently is a nudist activist. He lived in a house, either, in the garage or school bus. Again, the story changes every single day. We really don't know. But apparently he lived in a house that has BLM signs, rainbow flags, stop the spread of hate, liberalism. I mean, like, the guy clearly is largely influenced by progressivism, okay, and progressive politics. He lives around that, okay? This guy is described as some type of hippie, right? A hippie. His, again, baby mama said that he probably was influenced by progressive values, the values that I have, okay? That's his politics. He's a member of the Green Party. Again, all alleged here, because again, the story changes every single day. All these things, in my opinion, point to the fact that, okay, this guy is definitely not some type of MAGA supporter or Trump supporter, anything like that, but it hasn't stopped the mainstream liberal media from pushing their conspiracy theory that is who he is. Which, again, in my opinion, there's not that much evidence to support that claim. I'm going to tell you guys why. But first, we got to talk about the okie doke that has been pulled on people, right, by the mainstream liberal media and also by law enforcement, in my opinion, as police are saying that, hey, there's no evidence that Paul Pelosi actually knew the guy, okay? And they're saying that, well, after Paul Pelosi was knocked unconscious, apparently he regained consciousness in the ambulance, and he said in the ambulance on the way to the hospital that he didn't know him. So therefore, he definitely didn't know him, despite the fact that it sounded like Paul Pelosi knew the guy in the 911 dispatch call.
Northern 4 car, 8 priority 910, 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. 14 hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. Is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. 12 over back and copy.
Now, Paul Pelosi allegedly said, I don't know the guy, but his name is David and he's a friend. Now, the mainstream media is saying that, well, Paul Pelosi was speaking in code. All right, he was speaking in code. Okay, let's give him that. But I just want you guys to remember, all this stuff, in terms of what law enforcement is saying, keep in mind, this is San Francisco. Nancy Pelosi is a representative from there. She has a lot of pull, okay? If you don't think that Nancy Pelosi has a vested interest in making sure that this story does not make her husband look bad, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we all saw how the local law enforcement handled Paul Pelosi when he got arrested drunk. I mean, we literally had to pull teeth to get a mugshot, okay? So, again, I'm just saying, these are the same people that told us, that got caught on hot mic saying that, look, you're not supposed to say he's a nudist, okay? Don't give any information out in the press conference that could suggest that this guy is probably not a Trump supporter or that something else is going on here.
Okay, so is this the dude that was a former, nudist dude? Okay. Yeah, okay. Is it okay to say any of that stuff? No? Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so, but we kind of have a working knowledge of who this guy may be. Hang on one second. Let me go see what they've got over here. I'll call you back. Bye.
Yeah, so another part of the right-wing conspiracy that has been debunked is the story that suggests that David Pepe was in his underwear, okay, when the police arrived. Now, this was reported by a local news outlet, okay? And then they retracted the story after the story went viral and got national news. I mean, you even had people like Fox News reporting it. All the major news outlets were basically going along with this story. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they say, oh, well, that's not true. He wasn't in his underwear. Again, I wonder where they got that information from in the first place, okay? But I'm just saying, I'm not naive enough to not believe that maybe, just maybe, the Pelosi's have a whole lot of pull in San Francisco, and the way this investigation is going to be carried out, the information that we're going to get, it's going to be filtered and censored to make sure that Paul Pelosi does not look bad. The same thing we saw that happened when Paul Pelosi got arrested for drunk driving. So I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I don't believe much of anything coming out of San Francisco, whether it be law enforcement, the FBI. I don't believe it. Anything that has to do with this Pelosi stuff, I just don't believe it. I want to see footage. I want to see body cam, and I want to see actual footage, video footage evidence from the house. There has to be some type of video footage of this. I mean, these people are rich. They're filthy rich. They should have cameras everywhere. Okay? We're supposed to believe that Paul Pelosi didn't have any security. Okay? We're supposed to believe that as well, too. That a man that is worth a bulk of Nancy Pelosi's net worth, the husband of the Speaker of the House, the guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, he didn't have really robust security. He didn't have tight security. Right? He just left himself wide open for some guy to allegedly, break into the back of his house. This is what they want you to believe. No cameras, no video footage, no nothing. That's what I want to see. And again, I am simply just asking questions, which is what the mainstream liberal media refuses to do, because again, this story gets more weird and weird and weird. So we're going to read about some of the details in this affidavit on the Paul Pelosi attack. And I'm telling you guys, the details here, it just doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. So let's read this. The Department of Justice released an affidavit on Monday unveiling assault and attempted kidnapping charges against the man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, the husband of Speaker Nancy Pelosi, at the couple's San Francisco home on Friday. David DePepe, 42, of California, was charged with assault of an immediate family member of a U.S. official with intent to retaliate against the official on account of the performance of official duties, and attempted kidnapping of a U.S. official on account of the performance of official duties. The two counts carry a combined maximum of 50 years in prison. Meanwhile, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins announced 6 charges against DePepe on Monday, including attempted murder. He is facing between 13 years and life in prison for those counts. Federal prosecutors say DePepe broke into the Pelosi residence in the middle of the night, threatened to hold the couple hostage, and hit Paul Pelosi with a hammer, causing serious injuries. The affidavit released on Monday unveiled new details on what transpired during the early morning attack, and it highlighted the threat the speaker faced from DePepe. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to summarize for you guys what allegedly happened here, and then we're going to go from there, and I'm going to get to the part that I think really is the sketchiest part. Now, the mainstream liberal media is running with the part of the affidavit that says that the guy was going after Nancy Pelosi because she is the leader of the pack of lies spread by the Democrat Party, and that he wanted to get the truth out of Nancy Pelosi. And if he didn't get the truth, then he was going to, quote, break her kneecaps. Okay, he's going to break her kneecaps. Now, here's the thing. Again, the mainstream liberal media is running with this as proof. Oh, this is a right-wing attack. And it's like, well, if you understand anything about politics, you understand that the progressive left does not like Nancy Pelosi just as much as the right does not like Nancy Pelosi. Okay? That's what people don't understand. This guy, from what we've seen, the evidence that we do have, it seems to me that, again, he's been influenced by extremely progressive, radical politics. Progressives don't like Nancy Pelosi. Like, for example, Antifa. Antifa, they commonly protest against Democrats, right? That's why all this stuff is happening in these Democrat-run cities. They're not really going after Republicans as much as they're going after Democrats, okay? They're far leftists. They don't like Democrats because the established Democrats aren't far left enough, even though they are basically progressive at this point. They're still not far left enough. So to just assume that the guy is a Trump supporter because he wanted to attack Nancy Pelosi is ridiculous, considering how, again, you have people on the left side of the political spectrum that don't like Nancy Pelosi just as much, if not more, than people on the right. So again, that's not proof of anything. Him wanting to attack Nancy Pelosi is not proof that this guy, again, is some type of Trump supporter. So apparently, this guy, he wanted to tie up Paul Pelosi because apparently he wanted to take a nap. He was tired of carrying his backpack, and he wanted to wait until Nancy Pelosi got back. Okay, Paul Pelosi told him that, hey, you know, Nancy's not going to be back for a couple days. He insisted on waiting anyways, and essentially that's what happened. Okay, so this guy ended up in Paul Pelosi's bedroom somehow, and that's kind of what happened. Now, here's a part of the affidavit, the testimony here, that I think is extremely sketchy, that the mainstream liberal media won't ask questions about, but we actually need to ask questions about this. Okay, this is what we really need to talk about. Paul Pelosi called 911 from the bathroom, according to the affidavit, where he was connected to a dispatcher. Minutes after the call, authorities arrived on the scene. During a press conference Friday evening, San Francisco Police Chief William Scott commended the dispatcher for her intuition and quick thinking. All right, so he's talking about how she interpreted Paul Pelosi allegedly speaking in code here, right? Calling the guy's friend. Jenkins told reporters on Monday that Paul Pelosi's cell phone was located in the bathroom. DePepe told officers that Paul Pelosi opened the door when authorities knocked. According to the affidavit, the officers saw the two men clasping a hammer. Quote, Paul Pelosi greeted the officers. The document adds in a different section. Okay, so again, here is why I got questions. How in the world did Paul Pelosi open the door when the police knocked, and then the officers saw the two men grasping a hammer? I don't understand that, right? I don't understand it. Okay, like what? Like, somebody make that make sense. Was Paul Pelosi already at the door? Okay, was he at the door and he was, I don't know, grasping the hammer while at the same time opening the door? Or did he, I don't know, run away from the suspect, open the door for the police, and then ran back to the suspect and I guess grabbed the hammer from the... I don't know what that is, right? I have no idea how to interpret that. I don't know how that's possible. If I'm Paul Pelosi and some dude I don't know is in my house and is threatening me and my wife, if I went to the door to greet police, I would run out the door, right? And say, there's the guy, go get him, go arrest him. That's what I would run to safety. I don't think that I would run back to the man. If Paul Pelosi was at the door, him and the man was at the door, I don't understand. I don't see how in the world the police would not have stopped the man from hammering Paul Pelosi immediately. Again, I don't know. This detail has to be explained. This has to be explained. But again, the mainstream media, they're so focused on telling people that this guy's a Trump supporter, he's a Trump supporter, he's MAGA, he's a far-right extremist. They're not going to ask questions. They're not going to ask questions about that. I don't understand how this is possible. I don't really know what to make of that. That's a weird detail that we need answers on. But again, my gut feeling is that you're not going to get answers on it. They're going to expect people not to really look into this stuff, and you're just supposed to believe the narrative. Don't ask questions about it. Okay, don't ask questions. And also keep in mind that Paul Pelosi is old. I think he's in his late 70s, early 80s, right? So the idea that Paul Pelosi can overpower this guy who's like 40-some years old, the attacker, again, it's kind of far-fetched that Paul Pelosi can overpower the guy and then go to the door to, answer the door, to get greeted by police. I'm just saying, this detail needs to be explained, right? We need more of an explanation on this. Monday's affidavit revealed that DePepe broke through a glass door to enter Pelosi's house. The suspect told officers that he broke into the house through a glass door, which was a difficult task that required the use of a hammer. The detail also discovered on body cam footage when police officers removed DePepe from Pelosi's residence. Police-worn body cam footage showed a glass door that appeared to be lamented glass broken near the door handle, the charging document states. Again, we need that body cam footage. I want to see it. Jenkins also confirmed the broken door at a press conference on Monday. Quote, he forced his way into the home through a rear glass door by breaking the glass, she told reporters. She noted that there was no security present at the home and that DePepe was able to break the window to a glass door to gain entry into the home. Suspect had zip ties, tape, and white rope. DePepe was carrying zip ties, a roll of tape, a white rope, and at least one additional hammer while in the Pelosi's home, in addition to a pair of rubber and cloth globes and a journal. The objects were contained in a backpack he bought to the residence. Authorities also recovered zip ties from the Pelosi's bedroom and in the hallway near the front of the house, according to the affidavit. Jenkins confirmed these details, telling reporters that DePepe, quote, brought to the location of Pelosi's residence a second hammer, as was zip ties, rope, and a roll of tape. DePepe had lived in the garage for 2 years. So apparently this guy lived in the garage. Okay, again, these stories change every single day. But regardless, you know, a lot of details about this story. There's more questions than answers. And the shame here is that the mainstream liberal media, instead of being journalists, instead of actually really asking these questions and trying to figure out exactly what happened, they're more concerned with trying to convince the American people that, again, this was some type of MAGA attack, because they're concerned about the Democrats getting blown out in the midterms. The unfortunate reality for them is that I don't think this is going to matter. This is not going to move the needle, okay? This is not going to convince anybody to come out here and say, hey, you know, I am now going to vote against my best interest when it comes to inflation, crime, the border crisis, you know, whatever, because Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked. So, you know, it would be in our best interest for the mainstream media to actually demand body cam footage, to demand security footage from the house, if there is any, so that we can get a clear picture of what happened. I want to see the body cam footage, particularly of Paul Pelosi opening the door. That's all I want to see. I want to see him opening the door, and how in the world did he open the door while at the same time clasping a hammer with the attacker? Did he run to the door and then run back to the attacker? Was the attacker at the door as well too? I want the body cam footage, right? Until then, I'm not coming to any conclusions about anything that happened here until I see some video evidence. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.